Hello to everyone in the Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Cathedral community. This is Father Jonathan. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to share a meditation on a passage that we are probably familiar with for a different reason than I'm going to be using it. And it's the passage that we read, the epistle that we read during the funeral service. And we've heard it a million times before, and usually it's preached on from the context of a funeral. But there's a deeper significance, I think, in these times where we might find ourselves struggling, fearful, and anxiety, grieving the reality in which we're living, grieving the loss of the ability to connect to one another in a face-to-face way, to connect with one another through touch, through each embracing one another. We find ourselves grieving that loss. And Paul, in his epistle to the Thessalonians, he says that we are not to grieve like those who have no hope. Now he's talking about those who have gone to sleep, gone to their repose before us. But I think this can be expanded to the reality that we're grieving now. We're grieving our social connections, which are limited because of distance, because of this pandemic that we're struggling with right now. So we do grieve. We grieve that loss, the last loss of that physical connection, those physical embraces of our friends and family. But we also do not grieve like those who have no hope, for we have hope. Hope that these struggles, these sufferings, this anxiety and fear can be transformed in love. It can be an opportunity for us to grow closer to God and to one another despite our distance. Because what's beautiful about connection, what's beautiful about our relationships, is we are present with one another even when we're distant. And that may not make a whole lot of sense, but let me break it down a little bit. When we are missing someone, how aware are we of that presence that we're missing? So it's like when I miss someone, when someone's not there right now, it's like they are there because I'm missing them. The act of missing someone brings their presence into our attention. We're reminded of them. And in that being reminded, we find ourselves connected to them in a real way. And so when we are grieving the loss of our social connections in person, let's take this as an opportunity to really dig deep into the reality of those relationships that we're missing. Connect with one another. If you have a feeling of missing or grieving not being with someone, reach out and call them. Live chat with them on FaceTime or on Zoom or on Skype. Talk to one another. Let this be an opportunity for you to grow in these connections. Because when we can see each other all the time, we can take for granted these connections. But when we're limited in our ability to communicate with one another, well, we might find ourselves longing for it. We miss what we had before, but don't have presently. And the same can be true in our spiritual lives. We may take for granted the fact that we can come to church regularly without being cautioned about how many people can be in one space. And so we should be longing also for God. If we miss God's presence in the Eucharist, we should long for that Eucharist, long for that connection with God, just like we long for our social interactions in person with one another. And just like we can send a message out via Skype or Facebook or text or a phone call, we should be reaching out to our Lord in these times, calling upon Him, praying more earnestly, looking deep within ourselves in these times of isolation and being by ourselves in the midst of the world. And then in doing this, we'll find deeper and greater connection with our God, and hopefully deeper and more authentic connection with our brothers and sisters who we don't get to see physically as often right now, but hopefully their presence is called into our immediate memory, our immediate awareness, so that we can hold on, preserve, and perhaps even deepen those relationships that we might have taken for granted in the past. God bless you. If you need anything, feel free to reach out to us here at the office. Call us on our cell phones. We are available 24/7 if you need us. God bless you. We love you. We're praying for you. And Together, though apart, we will get through this time of anxiety and fear. We love you. God bless you.